Hello, everybody. Welcome to womenlines.com show. It's real entrepreneur voices show, friends, at Womenlines, where we bring inspiring stories of entrepreneurs breaking barriers and making an impact. Language is more than just words. It's the bridge that connects people, culture, and opportunities. Today, we have incredible Alexandra, founder of Kaplan Interpreting Services, straight from Los Angeles, whose work is revolutionizing the way businesses, organizations, and individuals communicate across languages. What does it take to build a thriving interpreting service? How do language and business intersect to create meaningful change? We are about to cover Alexandra's entrepreneurial journey, her vision behind Kaplan Interpreting Services, and the impact she's making in the world of communications. Welcome, Alexandra, to the show.
Welcome, Sharu. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's such a pleasure to have you, Alexandra. I'm so eager to hear you. Can you share with us about yourself first?
Sure. I have an interpreting and translation agency, and it's over 17 years that I've been running this. First, I was running it by myself. So for about 15 years, I was running it by myself. And now for the past 5 years, I've had staff under me.
Wow. So take a note, friends, that she is a certified interpreter and a leader in high-stake interpretation. With over 17 years of experience, she has worked with leaders, world leaders, top legal and medical professionals, and global businesses to ensure that every word counts. Can you share, Alexandra, a pivotal moment when you realized the need of your service and how it led you to create your unique business approach?
Sure. Honestly, I didn't think that this business is going to turn into a business. It was just a gig. It was like a second income. My husband's an attorney, and we needed an income back 16 years ago when I was raising my kids. So I began as an interpreter, and my job first started with injured workers in the workers' comp industry. And I was just making sure that injured workers were heard, interpreting every single word that we're saying, and um it was a beautiful profession, right, to be part of, because they didn't have a voice, and they were a lot of them, they think that because they don't speak the language, they shouldn't just express themselves or voice pain. So there I was, making them feel comfortable, making them feel that I'm here for them, being an advocate. Some of them, sometimes they're reluctant or they're hesitant to share any information because they think that I'm sent through workers comp through the insurance. So they think that it's like an FBI, kind of work, that I'm reporting everything. So they don't want to talk to me, but I make them feel comfortable. And, day by day, I was helping more and more injured workers. And I was finding fascinating that I was going to different appointments, very interesting appointments, from emergency room to physical therapy, rehab, surgeries, any catastrophic injury I was part of. And it was just fascinating, to follow them. But I didn't know that just the work that I was doing every day was being valued, to be honest with you. I mean, I could see the communication was getting across, and the injured worker was getting what they wanted, what he wanted or he or she wanted. But at the end of the day, I didn't know that it was so impactful.
Oh,
So yeah, so slowly, I would see the demand of my work more and more. So, I was being sent to many, many assignments that I couldn't even keep up. So at that moment, I said, something pivotal is happening here, something crucial is happening, and I'm seeing it right in front of my eyes. I didn't know. I was just going to many assignments, but I didn't know that I was being requested more and more.
beautiful. It's called the power of a small idea. You have a seed and you sow it, and then whole world open to you. So nice to hear that. In your experience, can you share what sets your services apart from others in your industry? And what are the key challenges your customers face that you are solving?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So our company is all based on continuous learning. We're always learning. And now with AI, imagine that people are saying, oh, you're going to be wiped out because of AI. No, not at all. AI right now, we're using as a very, very strong tool to help us automate our systems. So our processes are being very streamlined for our clients. We have strict quality control from emails to phone calls to services being rendered by the interpreters. We have that continuous process. We also have tailored interpreting matching, which means that if you need an interpreter, you're going to have a webinar and you need an interpreter in different languages. We're going to make sure what exactly you need. Not, oh, hey, I need Spanish, Burmese, Urdu, French. And we're like, oh, sure, we'll send it to you. We need to do some background check or intake, right? For you to actually get that interpreter that matches your event, your assignment, and that the interpreters brush up on that terminology. So we make sure to do that. And so that the experience that you have is an experience more that, hey, I'm going to give you the assignment and the interpreters are going to show up, right? From A through Z, right? From beginning to end,
Mhm.
you won't know much, only that we requested information from you. Obviously, you have something to do because you guys pay, right? But then after that, you have not much to do. You just, simply you are receiving this service. You sit back and you receive our service.
Beautiful. I'm sure people have started thinking AI is there. We don't need so many services. But I think AI cannot win your trust. The trust factor is a big factor for documents where you are getting your documents interpreted, and whatever things you are getting interpreted. I think human intervention is a must, and there has to be somebody who can do that with that confidence, confidentiality, and trust. And here you are. So
Yeah.
it makes so much sense that
Yeah, and I
just
forgot to
AI
tell
is
you
not enough for anybody, right? So,
exactly. And it's I mean, like you were sorry that I didn't answer your question, but yeah, it is a challenge, right? Like you're saying, what are the challenges that my client that our clients are facing? So one of the challenges is they're using bilingual staff. Bilingual
um,
staff, they're not qualified interpreters. They're not certified. They're not trained. They haven't gone through schooling. It's just, I'm sure you speak two languages, correct?
correct, correct.
Right. But if I ask you to interpret right now simultaneously, there's some words that you're not going to be able to find the exact translation at that moment because your brain is not trained for simultaneous interpretation. So that's one of the challenges. They're using bilingual staff and they're finding that they're going to court, they're going to present this and their errors. So that's one of the biggest challenges because they're trusting their bilingual staff, as they were interpreters and they're not. The other one is from other clients, they're facing poor interpreter matching. Remember what I said before that we do a very thorough intake process?
Correct.
That's not many of our competitors. They don't do that process. And that happens that, what they do is firms, they don't know much, about who speaks what. They would have to ask their client. At times they don't have time. So say, for example, somebody's name is Charu, like yours, Charu Vargas. So they assume immediately that it's Spanish. Why? Because it has the Vargas. So they immediately assign a Spanish interpreter.
Oh,
Then when I go there, right, to the assignment, I realize that the client doesn't speak Spanish, that it was the assignment was done incorrectly of the matching of the interpreter. It's just
goodness.
one simple question would have, completely solved this. Yes, so that creates last minute chaos, right? And we always have to clean like somebody else's mess, so to speak. And that's basically what we find, and also the inconsistency in terms of the follow through. So you go ahead and you request as an assignment for April. And, we follow up with you 3 times, but, say agencies are busy. So then at times the clients, they go ahead and they say, hey, it's all confirmed. Like we have it scheduled. It's April. And they go, no, you didn't do this. You didn't do that. There's different steps that were unfollow. So they're being misled, by the different interpreting agencies.
Yes, here we need experience. Here we need mindful person who and mindful team who is alert for all these points. So yes, Kaplan, team is there for you. So do reach out to them for your interpreting services, friends. So, Alexandra, what has been one of your most rewarding success stories from working with clients? Could you tell us about a moment where your services truly made some difference in their lives and they remember forever?
Yes, thank you for that question. I'll tell you two stories. One
All right.
is, a very simple angel worker from Mexico, who was my client. That was my first real client. At the beginning, I was just being sent to different settings, medical settings, court settings, just different concerts, book presentations, eulogies, vows. I was just sent to many different assignments to interpret. But then I met this gentleman who, very humble, no ego, very simple, um, you know, injure worker. And he didn't know how workers' comp system worked. And I didn't know either because I just had started. But I decided I was determined to help him. So at times, injured workers get assigned nurse case managers at the field. But this man was not getting one. He was getting one only through the insurance, and she was just sitting behind her desk. So I decided to call the insurance, make sure that I would know who that nurse case manager was, make sure to talk to her. Then once I spoke to her, voicing all the complaints and all the situation, and how hard it was for him to get approval for all the services. He was a catastrophic case. He had injured his both of his legs and his low back. Basically, he was in a wheelchair. He had little kids. It was really sad because, he had to provide to his family. So he also didn't know why everything kept on being denied.
Mm.
And it was not my job, to be honest with you. My job is as an interpreter. We are also advocates, but we pretty much don't have time to do this. But I decided I'm going to help him. So I connected with a nurse case manager and I introduced myself. She was pretty impressed because she's like, I don't get this phone calls many times, so often. So what I did is I explained to her all the doctors that we were going, and I kept on having a follow-up call with her all the time,
Okay.
making sure that she knew the medications, making sure that she know the names of the doctors or who we wanted to go to. So that way I was able to get him all the approval of all the services. I followed him 3 years to all the assignments that he possibly had from the beginning through the end. He was then, this returned back to the workforce. So basically, after 3 years, he recovered to go back. He got, all what he needed. So that
Wow.
was very, very rewarding for me. It was very rewarding that it made
It's
me
so
feel,
fulfilling.
yeah, that to make me feel, this is a story that I can tell my team, and this is the way I want them to
Wow.
connect with others. And then the other one is when I interpreted for the Pope for Pope and Biden. So right before Biden became president, I had the pleasure and the honor to interpret at a phone conversation with both
Hi,
of them.
hi.
Yeah, and little did I know that they were going to even acknowledge me, right? Because we're called voice boxes. We're called the ones that they would just relay the message and convey it. So there's no language barrier or language gap. Other than that, that's it, right? End of the conversation. But the Pope did acknowledge me. So I felt so good that he, mentioned, thank you for such a great interpreter. And then Biden said the same thing. I was expecting him not to say it. So that was a very important moment because I felt, look, even when it's a simple conversation, right? 30, 45 minutes to help them, what difference can it make, right? I'm just here. I'm helping them. I'm sure they do this every day in every single language, which
Correct.
they had Ukrainian, Russian, all,
Yeah.
they were meeting with every single, the Pope was meeting with different presidents. And, I was acknowledged. So it felt very rewarding and very meaningful.
Fantastic. Awesome. So nice to know this. So, Alexandra, who is your ideal customer and how do you tailor your offerings to meet their unique needs and goals?
Yes. So our ideal clients are those that they value the interpreting, industry. This our service are the interpreters that they value communication, that they know that a word can make or break a case. That they're not gonna nickel and dime, or thinking, oh, this is just an add-on, a commodity. No, it's simple. It's a valued service. For years we've used interpreters, and that's the way we have, made this world a global world, right? That's why we have international businesses. That's why how we have grown exponentially is with the help of communication. So our ideal clients are also those that they're going to go to court, right? And they need an interpreter by their side. Or international patients that they come from Armenia, they come from South America to come to the States to receive services. Somebody would want a heart transplant. They would want an interpreter to be by their side, right? All the time. And somebody that's coming to LA for the Olympics, who basically, would want to have an interpreter with them all the time, to understand everything. It could be from France, it could be from Germany, from any country.
Country. Wow. Take a note, friends. It's there going to be soon. Wow,
Yeah.
so nice to hear your story, Alexandra. My final question as a business leader, what advice would you give to other women entrepreneurs looking to carve their own path and create a business for themselves?
Sure. So trust that your lived experience has value. Like what I said, I didn't know at the beginning,
Yeah,
right? Where this was going to go. So just trusting the process, trusting your journey, trusting that every day is taking you, to where you're going to go, to where you're going to be in many years. And the other one is um never feel underestimated. Never feel that your job, it's minute. It's just a little. Every detail adds to the bigger picture, right? And building relationships is so important too. Like the
true.
the example that I gave you of the nurse case
Yeah,
manager. That I believe that's how many doors open. And never stop learning. We always into knowing like AI, why some people are scared of AI. The
correct.
opposite. It's our best friend right now.
Very
You know,
true.
embracing technology, embracing the changes, the fast changes, and that the only way to do that is by never stop learning.
Awesome. I loved it. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and valuable tip. And it's so inspiring to hear you, your experience, your journey, and how you made a small idea in a big business, established it. And yes, so my Womenlines audience, reach out to Alexandra for all your interpreting needs, and she's there to help you with her team. Thank you so much, Alexandra. All the best for your future ventures. Take care.
Oh, thank you, Charu, so much.